you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm grateful for this opportunity to join this debate at this time and to offer a short contribution. As once again, I wasn't scheduled to speak today, but I had to respond or throw my 2 cents in when I heard the contribution of the Member of Parliament for Siparia, who's also a former Prime Minister. And the member would have spoken, would have said that this government has brought the Tobago economy down to the ground, has flattened the Tobago economy. I join the rest of the members on this side, the members of the government side, in supporting this critical measure at this time. I think now more than ever, the private sector, entrepreneurs, small enterprises need this type of assistance where the government is providing incentives to help them in the advancement of their businesses, to keep their businesses afloat. Because businesses or private sector entities that would have otherwise been healthy have all been brought to their knees in some way or the other, whether it's from falling demand, reduced input supply, tightening credit, or just uncertainty based on this whole COVID situation, and assistance from the government is really, really required. For as long as we can remember, the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Tourism, and several other ministries have been offering this type of assistance to the private sector before the whole COVID situation, and I think it is most important at this point in time, hence the reason I offer I felt the need to add my 2 cents. Now, as it relates to Tobago, I always find it rather interesting and just startling when I listen to the hypocrisy coming from the other side as it relates to the Tobago development and the development of the Tobago economy. Now, Madam Speaker, the member for Siparia said the Tobago economy had been flattened by this government and that nothing was being done. But in the same breath, I think that that member forgot to tell us about the precious nothing that she and her government would have done in their time. As we speak even about agriculture, for the first time in our history, Madam Speaker, this government launched the Agricultural Incentive Program in October of 2018. And for the first time, grants that are being offered by the Ministry of Agriculture in Tobago was now for the first time being extended to farmers in Tobago. That had not been done before. And I had the opportunity to witness a distribution ceremony in the month of June of this year, where farmers from Tobago were given up to $100,000 each to provide support as they modernize their farms. This is the first time farmers from Tobago had the opportunity to access this grant coming from the ministry. That was not done under the leadership of the UNC and the member for Siparia. And on top of that, this government has offered incentives to farmers. We would have redoubled our efforts in doing agricultural access roads in Tobago, providing better access for farmers in the rural areas to bring their...
48-1, the member seems to be going off course as it relates to this particular motion.
Overrule. Madam Speaker, the previous speaker... Overrule, please. Thanks. I want to continue. Yes, thanks. Yes. So the previous speaker would have spoken to the incentives or the concessions aren't enough, that we have to do more. And I want to speak to the more that we have been doing, because this incentive, these concessions are supposed to help our private sector, help our farmers to advance their business. So we have the agricultural incentive grant, where the Tobago farmers are getting for the first time under this government the agricultural access road program, which started also in 2018, giving better access to our farmers to bring their livestock and their crops to market. Just 1 week ago, we would have opened a newly refurbished or renovated Scarborough Market, Madam Speaker. And I can tell you all 242 farmers and vendors are extremely happy by being able to operate their businesses out of the Scarborough Market, and that was done under this leadership. So I want to commend the government and commend the different ministries who would have provided that support to the Tobago House of Assembly and to the people of Tobago. And whilst the member of Siparia spoke to flattening the economy of Tobago, this government would have given grants to Tobagonians, to the Tobago House of Assembly, so that farmers in Tobago can improve our food security during this COVID situation. I want to turn to tourism. The member for Siparia spoke about the government would have disbanded the TDC and did not properly establish the new companies. Madam Speaker, that is far from the truth. Madam Speaker, the Tobago Tourism Agency, which is now in operation in Tobago, has been providing assistance to the private sector, the tourism stakeholders in Tobago, and would have won a silver award for their national tourism campaign. Madam Speaker, this entity has also gone the distance to work with the stakeholders to develop plans and projects for tourism in Tobago and a standards initiative for Tobago. Madam Speaker, the member forgot to mention the less than nothing that was done by her government. The member for Mayaro would have raised the tourism accommodation upgrade program. Under the member for Siparia, when she was Prime Minister, and under that same UNC administration, what we got from the TALK program in Tobago? Nothing again, Madam Speaker, precious nothing. It took December of 2015 when I became Minister of Tourism. That was the first time that grant, that tourism upgrade program, was being offered to the stakeholders in Tobago, where the government goes 50-50 in the investment as they upgrade their rooms and they upgrade their plans. That program had been in operation in Trinidad for over 3 years under the UNC, and they did not see it fit to offer that incentive to the Tobago tourism stakeholders. So once again, this government has come to the rescue. I'm sorry that the member for Siparia forgot to mention that, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, you would have seen over and over where this government had stepped in a time of little to offer support to the people of Tobago and to the tourism industry in Tobago. Over the years, over decades, Madam Speaker, the people of Tobago had cried out. The tourism stakeholders had made their plea for a refurbished or an expanded or new airport, Madam Speaker, and the other government, the opposition in their time would have said that was too much money for Tobago. And even as we place this investment of over $2 billion in the A&R Robinson Crown Point Airport, they cried out that that was too much money to spend on Tobago. So we are making the investment in Tobago, and that project is well on its way, Madam Speaker. I remember when I was in opposition and the member for Siparia was Prime Minister, they went over to Tobago and had a big ceremony naming the airport after former President Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson.
Madam Speaker, again, 48.1, I am hearing nothing about custom duties and exemptions and so on.
Overruled. Please continue. Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, they had a whole little party, song and dance, Madam Speaker, opening the airport. And at that point in time, up to the PNM coming in government, Madam Speaker, when we go to Tobago, we had to slew our luggage down a slide because the luggage belt had not been working, and they stood there for their 5 years, an extra 6 months, and watched that and have the audacity to come to Parliament today to speak about flattening the Tobago economy when they did nothing, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I stand here this afternoon giving support to the Minister of Trade as she offers these incentives and these concessions to the private sector. We know all too well that the government cannot afford to employ everybody, and that is more so for us in Tobago and the Tobago House of Assembly. So any support to the private sector, to the Tobagonian who is planting that want to improve their business in agriculture and take their crops and livestock to market, we are well on board, and I want to commend the Minister for Trade for bringing this motion here today and to provide incentives to those who are now diversifying and improving their business in tourism in Tobago. Madam Speaker, I want to commend the Minister for Trade once again for offering the support to our private sector. Madam Speaker, the opposition, whenever they had the opportunity, when the UNC and their friends, even their friends in Tobago, have the opportunity to do these things for Tobago, to offer development to Tobago and incentives to help to improve our business sector, because it's all well and good to come here and complain about the Tobago House of Assembly hiring everybody, and it's not well and good, but they do it anyway by coming here and saying that Tobagonians are lazy. But when we extend our hands and we ask for support in improving our private sector, the PNM is doing too much. I stand by this government in improving the lot for the private sector in Tobago, Madam Speaker, and we are going to continue to work with this government and with the People's National Movement, because, Madam Speaker, every time we have been tricked by politicians in Tobago to walk down the road or to go into the hands of the UNC, we got salt, nothing, precious nothing. And in most recent years, we could see the development, we could see the effort that this government is making and the investment through the grants given to Tobagonians, 2 bites of the cherry, where we can access support through the Tobago House of Assembly and from central government. Madam Speaker, Tobago is good and getting better. And we stand with this People's National Movement government and the Minister of Trade, and I support these concessions and these incentives towards promoting and advancing our private sector. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Member for Princess